You might have heard the story of Jadav Payeng, also known as Molai, the forest man of India. His name echoed across documentaries, films, and inspiring stories worldwide. Today, I want to retell his journey because it is a story of courage, resilience, and quiet sacrifice. A story that strikes a deep chord with me. A single person, without money, without machines, without a team, quietly grew a forest larger than Central Park. No viral movement, no NGO, no public campaign, just a boy, a river, and a heartbreak that changed everything. This is exactly the kind of story Grassroots Lens exists to tell. Real people, real struggles, real impact built from the ground up. In 1979, when the Brahmaputra flooded Majuli, the river island of Assam, the world saw devastation. Entire villages washed away, crops destroyed, families displaced. But 16-year-old Jadav Payeng saw something far worse. As the water slowly receded, he walked along a barren sandbar. The ground was cracked and blistering under the burning Assam sun. The air smelled of death and wet earth. And scattered across the sand were hundreds of snakes, twisted, blackened, burnt alive, not because of the flood, but because the trees that once shaded this island were gone, washed away, eroded, forgotten. That moment didn't just disturb him. It shattered him from the inside. It wasn't a scene. It was a wound, a calling, a silent plea from nature that he could not ignore. He went to the elders and asked, "What can be done?" They told him, almost casually, if there were trees, the land would stay cool and the animals would survive. That one simple line stayed with him, echoing in his mind for days and nights. So he decided to plant trees. Not for profit, not for praise, not for any grand environmental vision we talk about today, but because he couldn't bear the thought of another living creature dying helplessly on the hot sand. When he shared his idea, people laughed. They said nothing grows on a dead sandbank. They said he was wasting his time, that floods would wash everything away, that he should focus on labor work, not dreams. But Jadav didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for support. He didn't wait for the world to approve. He took bamboo shoots, carried clay pots filled with water, and began planting, alone, no tools, no guidance, no resources, just faith in the little green shoots he pressed into the earth. This is the kind of story that defines Grassroots Lens. Change born on the margins, not in the mainstream. Day after day, month after month, he returned to the sandbar. Floods destroyed his work. Drought shriveled the young plants. Wild cattle trampled whatever managed to survive. Mosquitoes bit through his skin. The sun scorched his back, and people continued mocking him. The boy who planted trees where nothing survived. But he kept coming back. Every single morning, he planted a little more. Every sunrise, he tried again. Because sometimes the strongest form of activism is not loud, not dramatic, not celebrated. It is persistence, quiet, steady, unseen, and then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, the impossible began to happen. The bamboo took root. The soil began to hold. Birds returned, dropping seeds from distant forests. Wind carried nutrients. Life, tiny and fragile, started rebuilding the land. And without anyone noticing, a patch of green appeared on the once barren sandbank. Years passed, then decades. That patch grew into a lush forest, dense, alive, breathing. More than 1,000 acres, bigger than many national parks. Not planned by experts, not funded by institutions, not monitored by committees or consultants, but grown by one man's hands. As the forest expanded, life returned to Majuli in ways no one imagined. Deer wandered through the undergrowth. Wild boars dug for food. Migratory birds nested high in the canopy. Snakes returned, no longer burnt, but thriving. Rhinos passed through the tall grass. Elephants began using the forest as a corridor. And tigers, yes, tigers, found refuge where once there was only sand and death. A lifeless riverbank had transformed into a sanctuary, a living ecosystem, balanced and beautiful. This is grassroots transformation in its purest form. For nearly 30 years, the world had no idea. No documentaries, no awards, no recognition. Just a man in his forest, day after day, year after year. Then one day, a forest officer visited the area and was stunned. He asked the villagers who planted this forest, and they replied almost casually, "This is Molai's forest." Molai, Jadav's childhood nickname. In that moment, Jadav's quiet work finally reached the rest of India, and eventually the world. Recognition followed. Awards. Traveling across countries. A Padma Shri in 2015 from the then President of India, Shri APJ Abdul Kalam. Films, articles, global admiration. But despite all the attention, the man remained exactly the same. He still woke up early. He still walked to the forest. He still planted saplings, one by one. He still lived with the simplicity of the boy who once stood heartbroken on a sandbank. And when people asked him, "Why do you continue? You've achieved everything," he simply said, "If we plant trees, the world will survive." His story carries a truth the world desperately needs right now. Real change rarely begins with governments or institutions. It begins with ordinary people who refuse to look away, with small actions that accumulate into extraordinary impact. Forests do not grow overnight. Healing takes time. But slow change is still change. Majuli breathes again. Because of one man's consistency, animals have a home again. The riverbank is alive again. And where there was once nothing, a forest now stands tall. Jadav Payeng did not only grow a forest, he grew hope. He grew resilience. He grew a reminder that one person, even one standing alone, can reshape the world. And this is why Grassroots Lens exists. To bring forward stories like his. Stories that whisper rather than shout. Stories that remind us that impact begins with one step, then another, then another. Another incredible story is coming soon. A village that plants 111 trees for every girl born. A celebration of life, of culture, of community. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us create the next documentary in this series and brings more hidden changemakers into the light.